Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into two absolutely defining eras in the world's most popular sport, separated by nearly a quarter of a century. We're going to look at the epic contrast between the legendary, historic 2002 World Cup and the completely unprecedented, massive scale of the upcoming 2026 tournament.
And at the core of this explainer is one huge, lingering question. Can Brazil, the legendary five-time champions, finally break a massive 24-year drought in the modern era? You know, to really understand the sheer weight of what they're trying to pull off in 2026, we've got to travel back to the very last time they actually touched the gold.
I mean, just hear that legendary broadcast ringing in your ears. Ronaldo, 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 Wayne Rooney out of this world. Just picture it. Ronaldo tearing through the defense, scoring twice in the 2002 final. That year, 2002, was all about absolute redemption for Ronaldo, and it was the last time Brazil claimed the ultimate prize. Now, heading to 2026, the five-time champs are just desperate to break that 24-year curse.
So let's get right into Chapter 1, Ronaldo's Ultimate Redemption 2002.
Look, Ronaldo had a massive mountain to climb back then. He was battling back from these severe knee injuries that had literally everyone questioning if he'd ever even step on a pitch again. Plus, he was carrying the heavy trauma of the 1998 final where he suffered a really mysterious pregame seizure and Brazil ended up losing to France. But in 2002, he totally banished those ghosts. I mean, he scored 8 goals to win the Golden Boot. And in the first ever World Cup held in Asia, he scored both goals in a 2-0 final victory over Germany. He single-handedly saved a nation and secured Brazil's 5th star. It was incredible.
Which brings us to Chapter 2, the chaos of 2002.
Because the contrast between then and now is just staggering. Back in 2002, defending champions France entered the tournament with a squad absolutely packed with superstars. And what happened? They scored 0 goals. None. They were eliminated immediately in the group stage. Now contrast that with 2026. The field is expanding to an astonishing 48 teams. The gauntlet is completely changing, which means the kind of pure chaos we saw in 2002, it could be magnified on a scale we've never seen before.
And by the way, that shocking French exit in 2002, that was entirely thanks to the tournament debutant Senegal. They beat the defending champs 1-0 in their opening match. It was this true Cinderella run driven by the speed and fearlessness of guys like El Hadji Diouf and of course the iconic goal scorer Papa Bouba Diop. They made it all the way to the quarterfinals in their first ever appearance. So when you look at 2026, we've got 4 brand new debutants: Curaçao, Uzbekistan, Cape Verde, and Jordan. You gotta wonder, who's gonna be the Senegal of 2026?
And if we're talking about absolute chaos, how about 11 seconds? That is literally all it took for Turkey's Hakan Şükür to score the fastest goal in World Cup history against South Korea. 11 seconds. Spectators were literally still finding their seats, and Turkey ended up riding that chaotic energy to finish in a record 3rd place that year. Crazy.
Of course, we can't talk about the individual brilliance of 2002 without mentioning Oliver Kahn. He remains the first and only goalkeeper in history to win the Golden Ball, the award for the tournament's best overall player. Before Ronaldo finally breached his net in the final, Kahn had conceded just 3 goals. 3. He basically carried a heavily injury-hit German side all the way to the ultimate stage. It really was a tournament where single individuals could just put a whole team on their back.
All right, moving on to Chapter 3, 2026, the 48-team gauntlet.
This sheer scale of 2026 is, well, it's mind-boggling. The tournament is going to span across the United States, Mexico, and Canada. We're talking 48 teams playing a massive 104 matches. It's officially the biggest event in the history of North American sports.
But here is the really crucial paradox of 2026. Because the field has expanded from 32 to 48 teams, it's actually mathematically easier to qualify than ever before. But, and this is the unknown twist, winning the whole thing might actually be harder. Teams are going to face more opponents, grueling travel demands across an entire continent, and honestly, way more tactical diversity than at any previous World Cup.
Which leads us to Chapter 4, breaking the 24-year curse.
24 years. Just think about that for a second. That is a heavy, heavy burden of time. As the only team to play in every single edition of the World Cup, Brazil hasn't touched the gold since that magical night in Yokohama when Ronaldo scored those 2 goals. An entire generation of fans has grown up literally never seeing Brazil lift the trophy.
And you know, the whole approach to winning has completely changed since then. The 2002 era was all about the individual, chaotic brilliance of the three R's: Ronaldo, Rivaldo, and Ronaldinho. Fast forward to 2026, and while Brazil has an incredibly deep roster with guys like Neymar, Vinicius Jr., Rafinha, and the young phenom Endrick, it isn't just about individual magic anymore. Modern football relies on the system. It's all about AI-assisted scouting and highly monitored recovery cycles designed specifically to prevent the exact kinds of injuries that defined the players of the past.
Leading this modern machine is legendary manager Carlo Ancelotti. He's actually renewed his contract to lead the team straight through 2030, which shows immense faith in the project. He's calling up a now 34-year-old Neymar for his fourth World Cup, really emphasizing deep experience in those crucial forward and goalkeeper positions. He's leaning on veterans like Alisson and Ederson in goal to navigate this massive 104-match gauntlet. Back in 2002, one man's redemption saved a nation. In 2026, the machine must do the same. So, I want to leave you with this incredibly powerful historical parallel. Before 2002, Brazil suffered another famous 24-year drought. From the days of Pelé in 1970, they didn't win again until 1994. And where was that 1994 tournament held? Right here in the United States, culminating in a final at the Rose Bowl. Now, facing yet another 24-year drought, the tournament returns to North America. Will history repeat itself? Can the highly tuned machine of 2026 finally match the legendary redemption of 2002? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this sparked your curiosity about the beautiful game.